Well, I always tell you, wonders shall never end when it comes to the world of finance. Here we have a brother of ours who is 22 years old, and the guy is earning 15,000 at the end of the month. And guess what he's contemplating? He's contemplating marrying. He wants to get a family. You know why? The reason as to why he won't get a family is because he buys this argument of, oh, mapema, meaning in Swahili, marry as early as you can, bring forth kids, and bring them up as you're young. By the time you're clocking 40, you're done. You have adults in your house and all those kind of things. So the point is this. And welcome to Africa. This is where people marry because of age, not because of stability. And actually, and the most thing that I usually find people do, especially nowadays, is that, marrying because of external influence. You see, marrying should come from the external sort of a driven or something of sort. Anyway, I'm not here to discuss about the social aspect. I'm here to discuss about the monetary aspect. There's some things that you're supposed to understand. Probably you're watching this video, maybe you married or got married at this particular age. You aren't financially stable rather. And you're likely to tell me on the comment section like, hey, you know what, you can just marry and everything will fall into place and you know what, God can provide. I'm not ruling out that one fact. It's true, He can provide, but again, at the end of the day, you ought to be smart. Don't marry on the basis of age. Don't marry because, hey, you're young, you're energetic, you can be able to bring up your kids. Or don't marry because, hey, you feel like the time is moving, you ought to do something and bring up your kids and what have you. You should marry based on various factors. Yeah, those should be the factors, but again, what are other factors I'm supposed to consider? Now, this is an individual who is earning 15,000 at the end of the month. Well, for those who are married, they already know, hey, guess what? Everything has skyrocketed. Everything is expensive as we speak. Now, should we tell this individual the truth or should we tell them what they want to hear? Should we encourage them? All right? Should we, motivate them and tell them, hey, guess what? Go out there and do the thing. But anyway, here I am as a financial advisor. I am not a motivational speaker. I tell you the truth, what I think this guy should be thinking and doing. At this particular age of 22, I think this individual should focusing mostly growing himself. When I say growing himself, I mean, you see, to handle things like marriages, you not only need to have the financial muscle, you also need to have what we call, mental stability, biological grow up and growth or development, all those kind of factors. Because you really need to understand if you can be able to accommodate, store, and be able to stomach pressure, because hey, it comes in lots of responsibilities. And I know who you are already in this thing, you know what exactly I mean. So at this particular age, and I always tell people, if you're a man, especially from all the way up to 30 years, you're supposed to be focusing on how you can be able to grow yourself. I really wish if this guy called me and asked me, hey, you know what, Joseph, I make 15,000 at the end of the month and I'm 22 years old and I'm contemplating, or let's say I'm just, sort of, mixed up. I don't know which one I should take in terms of the investment, because I want to get myself, sort of financial freedom by the time I'm clocking 30 years old or something of sort. Now, at this particular age, you ought to be thinking about exactly that. Now, this is what I told the guy, and this is exactly what I would say if you're thinking about exactly that. I'm not discouraging you from getting your family as early as you can. Well, if you feel at the end of this video you still have the conviction deep inside of you that you ought to marry, then go ahead and do it. But honestly speaking, if you ask me, I will tell you, you're supposed to be focusing on growing yourself. You can even just try to salvage some, and by the way, I asked this guy, how much do you manage to save at the end of the month with this amount of money? And guess what he told me? I'm paying a house rent worth 4,500. That's what he told me. I'm paying a house worth 4,500. Food I eat roughly, let's say like 4,000, all right? That's what he told me. And then let's say transport, I set aside like 3,000 or something of sort. Guess what we are doing? We are now above what? We are now talking about 11,000, apps of it. We are remaining with 4,000. Then I asked, how much do you manage to save in a month? And then he said, hey, sometimes I can be able to set aside 4,000, sometimes 3,000, and sometimes nothing. Why? Because I do have a parent who needs me to support her or him or them with some cash at the end of the month. So sometimes I manage to save, sometimes I don't manage to save. Now, the question is, you are alone, all right? You are singular, all right? At this particular point, you are saving nothing and you're earning yourself 15,000 at the end of the month. I asked the guy, do you know what are shares? I do not know. Do you know what's an MMF? I do not know. Have you ever tried a business? No, I do not. Do you have some money, cash with you you've saved right now? Yes, I do. Yeah. How much have you saved? 15,000. Well, for how long have you been unemployed? Anyway, this is my 5th month and I'm contemplating. 5th month and you're thinking about marrying just because you're getting 15,000. Some people are making this 15,000 in a day and they are not married. Anyway, I'm not saying that you should look at them, but the point is this: if right now you are alone and you cannot be able to survive on the 15,000, because you have some other responsibilities, the black tax and what have you, you're supposed to support your family members. Now you're thinking of bringing another individual, which means that actually bringing another plate on the top of table. Because you're energetic, you're young, and you have the financial or rather you have the muscles and what have you, you're likely to produce a very bouncy, healthy kid. That means on top of that, more responsibilities, buying pampers and what have you, psychological torture and all those kind of things, all right? So the point is this: you aren't even stable by yourself, and you won't bring another people or other people on top of that. So that, let me tell you one thing. Have you asked yourself why in Africa people usually have what we call the generational poverty and what have you? Because, and I stand corrected, you can actually go ahead and dare marry, and maybe right now there's someone who was watching this video and telling me, hey, you know what, Joseph, I married at 20 years old, and guess what, right now I'm rich and I'm financially stable. It is true, but at what rate that happens? At what rate? See, we cannot be able to use a subdivision of the lowest and lowest people in terms of the population and then take that on to make a conclusion. I know we should borrow that idea, or we should borrow them in terms of us having or generating the positive vibe, but the question is this: you do not know whether you fall under that category. You do not know how lucky you are, whether you might get into the thing and then you get off of it, okay? Now, point is this. See, this individual, once you get yourself into a family, meaning you get yourself kids, you're hardly saving nothing at this particular point. See, I always tell you people one thing before I even explain my point. You cannot be able to control luck. There is no way Joseph can really tell you this is the right formula for you actually to be wealthy. Nobody knows exactly that, for sure. But there is something always remain, with us that I can actually attest to you. I'm 100% sure that hard work really does good. Why? Because if you work hard along the way, luck meets you, done. You're good. And that particular point is when you make your ends meet. Because you do not have any control over your luck, you always do what we call the hard work. And then in the meantime, as the luck comes in, then everything falls into place. The problem is that when luck meets you and you're lazy, you ain't gonna do anything about that thing. So the point is this dude is saving nothing. He won't bring a family on board. Then what does it mean? It means probably he won't be able to provide and give them the best quality life. Because if you can be able to give your family the best and quality life out there, when I say the best, I mean best according to the category that you are, okay? Now, it means probably this guy ain't gonna be able to provide for the kids and give them like the best education and what have you, all right? Then what exactly does it mean in return? Okay, I'm telling you what I understand. He can actually marry, get the kid, and they can actually be successful. But honestly speaking, at what rate does that happen? Now, allow me to talk about what is actually popular and out there, okay? Now, the point is this: at this particular point, with this particular rate in terms of savings and what have you, honestly speaking, I can smell a lot of doom. And by the way, I did ask this individual, what exactly is really motivating you? Is it because you're feeling like you're earning 15,000 at the end of the month? Do you believe like 15,000 is quite enough for you to be able to bring a family on board? And the guy was arguing from the point of, hey, I'm always busy, I'm kind of tired, I just want to have somebody back at home who can be able to cook meals for me. I told the guy, guess what? I started cooking myself since I was a very young man. So don't rush in doing some things and thinking that you're going to salvage some things. You know what? I always tell people, 3 things. And if you're a man watching this video, get this point and never forget it the rest of your life. Number 1, these are the 3 things that men or a man needs in his life. Number 1, you need food. 2, you need peace of mind. 3, you need sex. Those are the 3 things that you really need in your life. So therefore, as a man by yourself, you can be able to achieve food and peace of mind. Sex, you cannot. So we do get marriage, or we marry because of that. We want to get it in a legal way. We want to respect our ladies and all those kind of things. So we cannot just get it anywhere we want. So we bring them on board and we believe, hey, we'll be getting this from that. And guess what comes with that? At what cost, in the process of you getting that one to tick all the boxes, let's say for the first month, 2, 3, 4, let's just talk of a whole year, you've ticked all the boxes. You've gotten your food, you've gotten your peace of mind, and you got your sex. Now, after some time comes in, everything has repercussions. You're bringing kids on board. Guess what happens? You get your food and you get your sex. You do away with your peace of mind. That's why you get out of your house and go do other things that can substitute that one for you to get the peace of mind. Sometimes it's not always to be fooled and think like, hey, by default of me bringing an individual on board, they can help me. And then there is another stereotype that people usually have, and I usually find this in African societies, like, hey, guess what? As a man, if you live by yourself and you have money, you cannot be able to succeed. You need a lady to control you and come on, send me all that. Send me all that. All right. The point is this: it's all about your personal responsibilities, how you actually, carry yourself, how you manage yourself, how you view things, what motivates you, and all those kind of things. I appreciate the fact that ladies are wonderful and they bring a very vital role in our lives. But the point is this: does not mean overly. If you do not get them in your life, then your future is doomed. No, that does not mean so. But if you're the kind of an individual whom you feel like you have to bring them on board, so be it. All right. So the point is this: at this particular age, honestly speaking, I told him, well, I cannot be able to get yourself between me because at the end of the day, I don't even know whether you're going to marry or not. But I'm going to tell you the truth. At this particular age, focus on salvaging some accounts, some money, rather. You see, get some money, save your money in some lesser circles. You can get your money into, some MMF and what have you. And then, or you can buy stocks as the time goes. Because right now, as you speak in Kenya, it's quite wishy-washy. You can't really tell whether it's the best time to start a business because a lot of people are complaining. So, am I really telling you should not start a business? Kumsi kumsa. Yes or no? Meaning like, hey, well, it's like a kind of a tough economies and what have you, and I can see some businesses, some of them are not really doing, as they used to do. So what I would advise you is, if you have to start a business, then don't just start with that dear money that you have, like all of it. I would prefer that you divide it, if you must, divide it maybe into two. Put some money into businesses, which means more risky and more returns. Try try the depth of the river with that 1 feet, and then the other feet you can actually take that money and invest it in a quite a safer areas. Where. By the way, if you ask me right now, I would rather do the Shylocking thing and lend my money to people and not do those kind of things, because people really are looking forward into getting money to survive themselves. And also, you can actually think on getting your money into MMF, into shares, stocks, and all those kind of things, those kind of areas. You can actually, by the way, we do have some companies that can actually link you up investing with stocks and shares that are outside the country, even those in Americans, the UK, and what have you. So I wouldn't really, recommend people to kind of take their own dear money and start a business like wholeheartedly and everything like the only money they have. No, I would advise like you just spread your risk. And if you don't love the investments kind of a things, you just love businesses, then I would advise you either start multiple of them, like different types of the businesses that touches different industries. Okay, so that at least if anything happens in between, you cannot be able to lose all your money. That is exactly what I would advise you to do exactly right now. Because, hey, let's not bury our heads into the sand and assume nothing is happening. Something is happening, that's for a fact. Anyway, guess what, guys? Don't forget one thing. My name is Joseph. Talk about money, investment, anything related to exactly that. If you don't want to miss any of my good videos in the future, doesn't cost you anything. This is what you do. Down below here on your right, there is a small button written subscribe. Hit that magical button. Like this video. Doesn't cost you anything. Comment down below. Tell me what you think. And by the way, if you find value in this video, if you'd like me to make more of this, just say more on the comment section. For now, it's a goodbye. And don't forget, you can as well grab that number of mine from the description of this specific video. Give me a call or text. Let's talk businesses. I offer those services at a personal level, obviously at a cup of coffee's price. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.